So, Iko, for
Yeah.
your church in SIB Live, are you all still doing pre-recording or live
Okay.
from churches?
We've been moving from post production, which is pre-record, to live stream since early July. Yeah, yeah. So I'll share some of the ideas that I have for post-production and live streaming lah. So basically, like both of these have pro and cons. For post-production, like basically can save everyone's time because you don't have to travel to church to record, so everyone can just record at their home. Yeah, and also they can do overdubs, they can do a lot of retake, like let's say you sing wrongly, then you can keep on retake and keep on doing lah. And cons, but a lot of time needed for the music arranger and the soundman to do the mixing lah, basically lah. For streamings, nowadays it's because it's live. It's basically you come to church and you play live, so it's the pros, like no post production needed lah. Basically you can do
One go,
one shot lah. So
Mistake jalan.
mistake jalan. That's the cons lah. If you make mistake then it will be there forever lah. Yeah, so there's no turning back lah, basically
Okay,
lah.
so when you're explaining about live streaming and also post-production, which one do you prefer? Do you prefer post-production where you can be creative, adding multiple voices, multiple instruments? But which one do you prefer?
To be honest, I prefer post production lah. Yeah,
Any
yeah.
reason of it?
Yeah, because like what you said, you can like do a lot of editings. You can spend more time mixing the sound, especially on the volume balancing, and be more creative about it lah. Yeah, yeah. So I prefer mostly post production.
I believe that when government already announced the MCO, I believe all of churches in Malaysia, they start to do a pre-record in their home.
Yeah.
So when we started, we kind of like, we don't know how to start it, and we so panic. And today, Iko will share about how do we do the pre-record in a better way. So for Iko, like you have one worship team for a week. You have basic setup, piano,
Yeah.
basis guitar.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how do you guide them to start a song recording?
Okay. So basically, our main medium of communication is through WhatsApp.
Okay.
So everything will communicate through WhatsApp. So we started with a smaller group. So we have I think only 2 or 3 worship leaders, then 4 or 5 musicians that been doing for every week.
Okay.
Yeah. So the purpose of it is to make everyone get used to the new norm lah, because most of them they never do recording before, so it takes a while to get used to it.
So basically, your setup is one keyboard, one bassist, one guitar.
Right.
one drum.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question. If I'm a drummer, I don't have a drum. So what is the instrument that I use to record my drum track?
Okay, because nowadays a lot of what do you call as you can program drum nowadays from DAW.
see.
So DAW is digital audio workstation. It's basically a recording software lah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can just like play from your keyboard and record full drum tracks.
Okay, so when you are planning a song, so let's say a worship leader already choose a song.
Right.
So how do you start from zero? Like you do a backing track or start with which instrument, which cue?
Okay.
Can you tell us?
Okay, so once I got the song list, which is around 3 to 4 songs per week, so I will discuss with the worship leader like, okay, for this song, because for me, it's just me lah, my personal preference. I like to rearrange music just to make it interesting and just to push my creative boundary. Yeah, so I will ask him, okay, what's the flow like? If I change the groove of the music, like let's say from rock to more like EDM, you okay or not? So we discuss, and then I will start recording, do a basic music guide with chordal instrument, like either keyboard or guitar. Yeah, so that the singer can listen to the chords. Yeah.
Based on your experience, are you okay with any song that worship leader change, or you advise them the reason why we don't do this song because it's too difficult to record or anything?
So far, no. Like all of the songs are okay to do.
because he's a good musician. So, in the meantime, so the first step is the worship leader choose the song,
Yeah.
and then he will discuss to you, which is you are the MD
Yeah,
of the week.
yeah.
So, which is the first instrument that you record?
Either keyboard or guitar,
Any reason of it?
because the main reason is you can hear the chords. So when you can hear the chords properly, it will help the singer to sing in pitch. Yeah, because if let's say I record drum first,
Yep.
there's no chord progression.
Yeah, true,
The
true.
singer also like, hey, how to sing? I cannot get the key. So if bass also, if I record bass first, can also lah. For good singer, they can listen to one bass note, they can catch the key. But it's easier for guitar, keyboard first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see. So it's the best to have keyboard or guitars.
Yeah.
So after that, you will send to the musician.
Yeah.
So you send to musician, they will record again, and then you make as a one instrumental track
Like full, like -1 lah, you can say.
or -1.
Yeah.
So let's say lah, for example lah, this week I don't have a drummer, I don't have guitarist, I only have piano and also guitarist, bassist only. So how do you solve it? Make it like sound fuller, sound attractive, sound creative during the online worship.
Okay. Because like for me, I can basically play all 4 instruments,
okay,
like
yeah.
bass, guitar, the basic rhythm section. So
Okay.
let's say for that particular week, there's only one keyboardist available. So I will just ask him or her, okay, you just record your part, then I will fill in the other instruments like bass, drums, and guitar. But let's say I'm like super busy that week, it's okay, we just carry on with just keyboard.
Just keyboard.
Yeah, but how to make it sounds fuller, it's from the mixing itself lah. That's where all the magic happens in post-production.
So you will record like multiple parts of the piano.
Yeah.
So let's say, what is the tips for you? Let's say because we have a lot of smaller churches in Malaysia, they don't have talented people like you. They only can play guitars or only can play piano.
Okay.
So what is your tips? Like let's say I only know how to play piano, so I just play a piano sound all the way, or I do double layer, or I just add something inside in between of the songs.
It depends. If you are let's say you only have acoustic guitar, and you only know how to play acoustic guitar, you can actually do like few layers of it. Let's say the first layer, you can just play basic chords, and then the second layer, you can do like a power chord. Then the third layer, you can do like some lines. So even with one acoustic guitar, you can make 3 to 4 tracks to make it more interesting lah. Yeah.
So according to what you have shared, that it doesn't mean to have a full band to have a good sounding worship.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
the key is to be simple and also be creative.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter you only have instrument, keyboard or acoustic guitar. The only thing that you want to, the purpose of doing it lah, right? And then, okay, my next question, after you finish the so-called the -1,
Okay.
you send to the worship leader.
Yes. Correct.
So, how do you guide them to sing in the right tempo, in the right key, and the range?
Okay. So I'll share like part by part of the instruments recorded lah. Let's say I'll go straight to the timeline. Okay. Let's say I got the set list by Sunday, Sunday morning or afternoon. Then if I'm free that day, I will start working on the music draft. So I will record either guitar or keyboard when I got the chords,
Okay.
and then I will put a click, and then I will put cues. Cues is the one to help them to know the form, like intro, verse, chorus. So
okay.
they will know, oh, okay, this is the chorus coming up, this is the bridge coming up. So once they get the chord progression, and then they also got the metronome, it will help them to sing in tempo and in tune. Yeah.
Will you change the tempo of the song?
No, usually I just fix it. Like
Fix it already,
if it's a 75 BPM, I fix it 75 BPM.
Can you explain about the tempo? Does the tempo will affect the mood of the songs?
Yes, it will.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if like slow songs, the mood is more mellow lah.
Okay.
If fast song,
Yeah. Because
not upbeat lah.
when we do like online worship, we want to our viewer at home feel excited. Sometimes the song is too mellow. People like just watching, and we kind of want to make the song more excited lah.
Yeah,
so we
yeah,
want to
yeah,
choose
yeah.
the fast
Yeah,
tempo song. Okay, so after you send to a worship leaders
Mm.
and then they record, what if just in case the worship leader cannot sing the key?
If they cannot sing the key, if it's really far, like cannot, tidak dapat diselamatkan sudah. So I have to ask them, okay, I'm sorry, but you have to retake your part again. So sometimes they have to retake 3 to 4 times, because vocal is the most important lah. If you sing off key, it will not sound so nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just in case lah, you say that they give you a song list on Sunday morning. Do they give you the key? Let's say I'm the singer for this week. I want to sing this song and I want to sing it in key G. But all the band is already recorded in key G. But just happen he or she cannot reach the key, and she requests to transport the key.
Okay.
Will you do it? Will your band re-record again, or you will just use a digital way to drop the key?
Okay. This is the most important part. Usually, I will record using keyboard MIDI, and I let's say it's what song? Give me one song example.
Let's say we sing Our God.
Our God by Chris Tomlin. So let's say I record in G, and then I will give them few tracks in different key.
Oh,
Because if I record with keyboard as in MIDI, so it's easy to change the MIDI notes. So it's just by a click of a mouse. So I give them in the key of G, F, E. Then like, okay, you find like truly your key, because once you got your key, only I will proceed with live instruments such as guitar and bass.
Okay.
Because like let's say if I record bass and guitar in the key of G, suddenly the worship leader say, cannot lah G, I want to sing it E flat lah. I can change the tuning of guitar and bass, but it doesn't sound natural. So it's really important for the earlier
Then you have
phase.
to retake again.
Have to re-record again.
Re-record
Yeah.
again. So singers, please make sure you can sing the chord that you've given.
Yeah, the right key.
The right key. Okay, so after the worship leader, they record the parts, you definitely will send to the backup worker.
Right,
Normally, how many of them for the backup worker? 1 or 2?
Depending on the availability of them lah. But like sometimes now, I think most of the time we use 3 singers, 3 backup singers. But I will ask them to layer the vocals.
Okay.
Since post-production you can do a lot of layers. So like, let's say one singer, if he can do a few vocal range like soprano, alto, tenor and bass, he or she can sing that part lah, like 3 layers. And then the second singer also can do another 3 layers. So it sounds fuller. Yeah.
Just now you mentioned about availability. Let's say I give you a scenario. Let's say that week is only 1 singer available.
Okay.
So do you still need a backup worker, or what is your solution for this?
If he or she can do the backup himself, he will do all the BVs part lah. He will do the harmony. But if cannot, just like one main vocal is enough.
So which means he or she will record her voice, and then he will play back again and listen again and record again.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then record again. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
now I see.
Yeah.
So after this, all the process that you had to explain, doing the -1, the backing track, record worker, change the key, whatever, all this thing, how many days it takes to complete one song?
One song because I do like 3 to 4 songs per week.
Oh,
So I don't really count per song lah, because sometimes like one day I will work on all 3-4 songs together. So it will usually Sunday to next Saturday. Yeah, this is including from music arrangement, recording, and the post-production. Post-production as in the mixing and mastering. Yeah.
post-production. There we will talk about more later.
Yeah.
And in meanwhile, while we are talking, have a session with Iko, you can start type up your question to ask us, and don't stop the chat box. Don't keep it so quiet. Just continue to ask us. Okay. So Iko, any challenges that you face during this period of time?
Okay. The first one is the lack of manpower,
Manpower.
because not everyone can do, especially on the mixing part. Yeah. So, like, I think for the first few months, only 2 people who are doing the post production, which is me, myself, and my friend, which is Sylvanus. Sylvanus.
Okay.
So, if you are doing this for weeks, can be really physically and mentally tiring. Yeah, so that is one of the challenges lah. And then to make the sound as professional as possible, because we believe in excellence. We don't want to chin-chai or like what people say, as long got sound, you got singing, enough lah. Why want to make your sound like so good? It's just us lah. We believe in the values of bringing the best, because this is a worship to God. We bring our best.
Yeah, good.
So we want to make it sound as good as possible. So the challenges is to how to make it as good as possible lah, because
Good.
we are to be
Worshiping
honest,
God, yeah.
to be honest, I'm not like really a sound engineer. I'm just like learning. So it takes time to really train your ears to really get a proper sound. And then another challenges is to work with different personalities, because in the team we have different people and different how do you say?
Knowledge, skill.
Yeah. So how I convey my message to them, and for them to like really understand lah, like some people got different musicality and personalities, and how the way I talk to them also to keep them excited and encouraged without them feeling down like, yeah, I'm so bad lah, I cannot sing lah. So I have to really think of a way, encourage them. You can do this. You can do this. You can do that.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Just now you mentioned about mixing.
Yeah.
What actually is mixing is all about?
Okay, mixing is basically after you finish recording,
Okay.
you have your bass, you have your guitar, keyboard, vocal, everything.
Okay.
How you want to make the sound balance and how to enhance it even more. Like you can with basically it's just like volume balancing,
Okay.
but you can also like put it effects and stuff lah.
Okay. So you have all the recording done already.
Yeah.
So when you talk about mixing, right? So which instrument or vocal that is your first priority channel? You need to fix that.
Okay. Because since everyone is recording from home, and for the vocalists, they don't have their device. They don't have proper device.
Yeah.
They're only using phones.
Oh, iPhone.
Yeah, iPhone. So, the source is not as clean as possible as getting a proper mic lah.
Yeah.
So that's where I spend more time on editing
The vocal.
for the vocals,
Yeah.
and not just because of the sound, but also about the what do you say? The
Quality,
performance.
performance.
Like the pitching,
Oh.
the phrasing. Like let's say got 5 singers. Some of them they sing some of it like the end of the phrase our God is greater. The greater. Some people will sing greater. Some
they
people
drag the notes.
greater. So like how to edit all of this phrase to make it more cohesive.
Oh, okay.
So I spend a lot of times editing vocals actually. Yeah, with the pitching, the phrase. Yeah.
Just now you mentioned about recording through iPhone, right?
Right.
So in a proper way, what is the instrument needed to record a vocal?
Okay. You need to have an audio interface
Audio interface,
and a mic.
a mic, any mic.
Mic you can use dynamic or condenser mic lah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So talk about interface. I want to introduce some of our product in-house product. So I've been using this. We call it for your information. Those who don't know what is interface, basically this is interface. Interface is come with this kind of size. Okay. So interface basically you connect your mic here. This is your input mic, if you can see, or you can just go to Google, search for this Steinberg UR22C. Basically, it just convert your dynamic mic into a digital format, which will send this to your computer, and from your computer you enter into your DAW. For DAW we have Cubase and Nuendo 10. Okay, this is some. The interface come with a lot of model. For Steinberg we have this entry level range. This is a UR22C, and also this is a premium range. We call it UR-RT2. So basically, there's not much different, just that the difference is the audio quality. This one is using a standard D-Pre mic pre. Mic pre basically is this one, your mic input, and also this is a premium with Rupert Neve preamp. If you want to have a more richer sound, then we'll go for this. This is for your entry level. It's good enough to record your vocal. Okay, check it out.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned that instrument gadget is very important when we do recording.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay. So I see a lot of questions coming in. Let me pick one question. Okay. How do we improve? This question is from Ivan. Hi, Ivan. How do we improve and educate all these our people? Because some don't seem to believe that this is important as how we look at it. Go.
Yeah, how do we improve and educate all this to our people?
The importance of being detailed, maybe being excellence in what we do.
I think this all comes from the leader lah. So if you're like, let's say your head of the worship team, he or she knows that okay, this is important to have a proper audio quality and to have a proper audio quality and sound. If he or she can convey it to the senior pastor, it would be helpful lah. As long you got the support of your senior pastor, it would be really helpful lah.
Yeah, I think for this, as a viewer point of view, let's say you are looking at a product review in YouTube. So by default, you always look for the high quality audio, high quality music background that to watch. You will not watch the review video that is the sound is not good. You cannot hear the words so clearly. That's why as a church setting, we also want to put this value into our worship also, because worship is what we can give to our God, and also we tend to be focused all the small detail because that's matter. Because little bit distraction and we will stop people from worshiping also, and we make our people at home cannot already focus into the worship. We want to create the atmosphere, what we feel in our church, and also they can feel it at home. I hope I answering your question.
Maybe I can add some more. So like talking about that, okay, let's say you are given opportunity to drive two cars, like Kancil and X70 lah, for example lah.
Proton.
Proton lah. So let's say you drive Kancil, like nice like 80 kilometer per hour, like feels fast. Then you will drive X70, this one even better, like got cushion, like nice cushion, nice car, everything. Then you know the comparison, like if next time I want a car something like X70. But no offense to Kancil drivers, Kancil also good. It's just for example. Yeah. Okay, so X70 lah. So it's like I think as long you can like Ken say, you bring two examples. Okay, this is an example of a bad sound or bad quality worship
video lah.
YouTube video, and then a good one. So like let's say the pastor or the people know, like, okay, you ask them lah, which one you prefer? You want the cincai one, or you want like really atas X71? Sure, all of them want X71. So you tell them the reason and you compare lah. Like, okay, this is the next level of worship we want to do lah. You can listen to a lot of churches nowadays. You somehow like compare lah, just to improve your team lah. Yeah.
Okay, thank you Iko, for the question. And the next question is, hi there. Do you have any tips or rule of thumb for volume control during live streaming? Yeah, I believe a lot of people having this issue. Even our first live stream, that a lot of people just say that the volume is too soft, it's too loud. First of all, it depends on what streaming software they are using. Some of them is using OBS, some of them are using Ecamm, and a lot more, Wirecast, whatever. So you need to check your volume meter, we call it meter. So basically, it's okay to reach until red color. There's a green color zone, and also yellow color zone, and also red color. It's okay to reach until the red color, because a lot of people thought that, oh, red color is danger already. But actually, it's fine. You go to the red color, but not too until the peak. Just touch slightly on the red color, and also make sure if you are doing live streaming, I'm not talking about post-production, live streaming, you make sure all the channel gain structure is correct before you check your master mix. So this is a little bit technical. If you don't understand this, you can PM me for further explains, because gain structure will take about whole day to explain it. So just make sure your audio master output is hit a little bit red color. Why? Because when you are streaming the audio is depend your distance to the YouTube server, and the volume you start to drop a little bit. So we just send as much level that we have, but make sure it's not distorted. Make sure it's clean sound before you boost it. If you boost until red, you can hear the distortion. You can lower it down a little bit until clean sound, and you are fine and you are safe. I hope you're answering you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a next question from Jeremy. I'm currently helping out with the live streaming in a small church. We are currently using a Yamaha EMX 3500 power mixer. May I know what do we improve live streaming audio while only using one analog mixer? Okay, this is a little bit technical issue, so I have to answer you. So first of all, a principle of live streaming, because now all the platform is using either PC or MacBook. So you need to get the idea of how do you connect all this mixer, all this mic channel into your mixer, into your computer. So this model is EMX 3500. They doesn't have the interface built in. So you need to get a mixer that have built-in interface, which is something like this. Okay, something like this. Your mixer, left and right channel, main output connected to this channel 1 and 2, and converted into USB out to your Mac or PC lah. So you will have a balanced sound without distortion. And the other option is you get our Yamaha MG series mixer, MG12, MG10, which is already come with the interface. So basically, your main output left right will convert into USB and become a digital signal to your OBS or Ecamm. We call it interface lah, so that you will have a balanced sound to stream out. Okay. Okay, I'm answering you already, right? So if you doesn't need to have to spend a lot of money, you can just get a small interface. Doesn't need to change the whole mixer. Mainly it's two main output. Make sure your no distortion and you are safe. Okay. While we're waiting for the next question, I have a question for Iko.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your tips for recording a vocal?
Tips for recording a vocal. Okay. Okay. First thing first is the singer itself must be skillful to be able to sing in pitch, to be able to really execute all the dynamics.
Okay.
Yeah. So the source itself is really important. So the source itself is the singer itself lah. So that's why when we first started, we only train these first few singers, just to train them as well. Yeah. And then once you get a good singer, the second source is how you capture your performance. Yeah. That's why since most of them they use phone, I told them just to DIY their vocal booth. Just put your pillow on the bed, and then you put your phone's mic facing you. So that's how you DIY your vocal booth lah.
To remove all the noises, surrounding sound.
Because like even the fans noise is quite obvious actually, because after you EQ, you put compressor, all the noise like sure go up and
Amplified already.
Yeah, amplified already.
Just in case, like they are staying in the noisy place like blended house where
Yeah.
they stay near highway. So what is your advice for them? Which time is good to record a sound? Their Walker,
When everyone is sleeping.
which is midnight.
Yeah, which is midnight.
Midnight,
But yeah, that's the best if lesser cars. But sometimes still you are singing halfway chorus, suddenly got one guy, boom! That one also capture got few
Have to
times like
retake
that.
again, yeah.
But sometimes if it happens, let's say the first chorus was okay, then the second chorus suddenly got this one phrase like our God, so that our God ngam ngam got one
Motto,
cup or motto like pass through lah.
Yeah.
So I will just cut from the first chorus. I
And
will
replace.
edit and I will just paste it
Wow.
lah.
Yeah.
So that is where the a lot
Mixing,
of works
a lot
happen.
of mixing, yeah.
This is not even mixing yet. This is just editing the track itself, which is already took hours.
Yeah. Some extra question for me, just in case that the worship leader already done their parts. Okay, they send their track into the backing worker. What if the backing worker they sing out of tune?
Okay, like I say, if they really sing out of tune, they have to retake again.
Retake again.
Even if they retake after 3-4 times, I will just put the volume softer in the mix. Yeah, but so far, good thing our singers all good. They can sing
Oh,
in
that's good.
pitch. Yeah, because
Yeah.
like it would be
Hurtful,
sad lah, hurtful lah. Like you see your face there, but you cannot hear your voice. Kind like
Okay, what if you are in the rush already? So let's say you have to finish the song by Friday,
Okay.
and you receive the vocal track from backing worker, which is on Thursday night,
okay.
and the front part of it, they sing not so good, maybe out of tune, but the chorus part is sound just nice. So what you will do? The first part you just cut it away, or you fix it, but you are in a rush mood already.
Depending on the song, if I feel like okay, this song is nicer to have the worship leader to sing along,
Okay.
so I would just totally cut the first section of the track for the backup vocal. So it's cleaner lah. It's cleaner like that lah. And I will check from other source lah if the other singers or I think it's nice to duet with the worship leader. I will just let it be there lah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any idea like to make the song sound creative, because they be listening to the original like few hundred times, and then during church service, it's like you playing the MP3 because you are watching to live stream.
Right.
What is the idea that you do, like make it sounds like orchestra, make it sounds like choir? Any things that you change, the song that you change to make it more attractive, to draw people can sing together?
Yeah, I do that for most of the week lah. Like basically this, for example, got one song, one of the NDC worship song, which is Perisaiko, I think. It's like a full orchestra arrangement, got violins and stuff. So I was thinking like, if I just follow as original, it wouldn't be like, it's just like same lah. It's basically you just taking the -1, just change the singer lah. So we did a trio setup, which is guitar, bass and drums, and we changed the groove and the style lah. So that is one of it. Basically you rearranging the amount of instruments, like from big to small, and then change the way how you play it. And then let's say got one song is like more like lesser instrument or like chill lah. You want to make it like more orchestra, can also just ask the singers to sing more layers lah. We did one project which is called Doa Kami. It's a GPCC song. We did a cover lah. So our pastor wanted to make it like sounds big, like basically want the whole church to sing. So all of them they sing at their own place, and for sure when they send the tracks it's off sync lah. Like so I have to take time to really sing it properly, and then do nice editing, so that it sounds big and but still sound cohesive lah. Yeah.
Okay, this is like sounding like a choir maybe, right?
Yeah, quite.
What is the tips? Let's say you only have 4 singers,
Mm.
then the pastor requests, I want this song sounds like choir. What is your tips?
Each singer to take 4 to 5 takes.
Which means there's record and record
Yeah,
again.
yeah. So like they record first layer, second layer, third layer, fourth layer, fifth layer.
Ah.
So even though like I'm singer A, you are singer B,
Yeah.
we are both singing the same melody,
Ah.
but we have 2 different characteristic of voice, of vocals. Like mine is like lower, yours is more high. Even though we are singing the same octave and melody, it will still sound big in a way because
Sounds
different,
like a lot of people. Right?
yeah, different texture. It's a different texture. So you have 4 singers singing 5 tracks each. So you have around 20 tracks already.
Oh.
20 tracks. So yeah, it will, then you mix, do all the pending. It will sound big lah.
Yeah, I think this is the good thing about post-production where you can, we call it tricky a little bit. We just add our own voice and sounds like a choir.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I believe if we do it live, it will be difficult, or you just play the backing track.
Can do what just backing track lah.
Just backing track lah. So
Yeah.
it depends how creative and what we want to achieve. And of course, we need to invest a lot of time to do it to achieve what we want. Okay, there's a next question coming in. Hi, how do we ensure audio is in sync with the video during a live webinar? Okay, I will answer this question because I believe this is a common issue for everyone when they are just started. Normally, this issue will be audio is faster than the video. There's a feature in your live streaming software like OBS, Ecamm, or Wirecast. You can delay your audio. You can delay. So before you live stream, you need to check. There is a tips how to check. You cannot check with a song. You cannot check with a live band. It's so difficult. So the tips for you to check is one person with a mic stand in front of camera. You just clap one time, and you see my video is faster or the audio is faster. So if the audio is faster, so you can delay the audio. Okay. The second scenario is the visual faster than the audio. This happen very rare lah. Seldom will happen. If this happen, you need to check your frame FPX in your camera setting, frame rate per second. This one is a little bit difficult. This is a 2 thing that you can check, FPS and also your video format. Is you are running in 1080i or 1080p. This is a 2 thing that you can explain lah. You can check lah. Okay. I hope I'm answering your question, and if I'm answering, just give me a thumbs up. Okay, the next question. What is your recommendation for purchasing a mixer? Should we go analog mixer like the MG series or the digital mixer such as TF series? If you're asking a sound engineer, of course digital mixer. But when we are purchasing for church equipment, we always think about the future. So if you are looking a solution for this period of time, of course you need to fit the church budget. If your budget is low, let's just go for MG mixer. If your church direction, you want to continue to do live stream and want to improve your mixing, want to improve, let's say some of the church they didn't miking their drum, now they have to miking. It depends, you want to mic the full drum or just 2 mics or whatever. You have to plan for future. Talk to your senior pastor or your worship leader. What is our plan? Are we gonna do live stream for this year only, or we continue? So if you want to continue, it's better that you upgrade in one time lah. So let's say MG mixer maximum is only 20 channel, which only very limited. You cannot improve channel count. By investing in TF series, you can have multiple. You can have you can go live, and also you can do multi-track recording, and you can have a lot of effect built-in and compressor in the mixers. So if you ask me, it depends your budget and your church direction. I will go for TF series. Okay, I hope you're answering you. Okay, any more question? Keep it coming.
Coming.
Okay, before we are waiting for your question, one final question I want to ask Mr. Iko.
Yeah.
What is the mixing tips?
Mixing tips.
Yeah. Like I want to sound like Bruno Mars in my vocal.
Mixing tips. I think it's like an art. So it's like a painter. Like he like to like paint lah and make it like artful lah. So like mixing sound engineering is also an art. So different sound engineers have different preference. So like me, maybe I like it to be more punchy and like in your face kind of mix. But some people they like it to be more mellow and more balanced. So I think it's based on different sound
Taste lah.
different taste.
Taste.
But the main thing, as long everything is you can hear and you can feel it, it's a good good benchmark already.
Yeah. Just now you mentioned that you are a bassist.
Yeah.
And you are also mixed for the song.
Yeah.
Will you be biased, let's say, or I'm playing bass, I want to be more dominant in this music so that people know, wow, this bass line is good. Will you do that?
Talking about that, so like last time I think subconsciously I will do that. Like,
Yeah.
because I love bass, I'm a bassist, so I will tend to push bass more louder lah. But now I think in a bigger picture, like this song is mellow, and it's the acoustic guitar is more driving. It's nicer for acoustic to drive the song. So I will, let's say if I'm the one who mix the song, I will make the acoustic to be in front lah. If someone else's is doing the mix, I will tell them, this song I want this kind of vibe. So like, talking about this, it's important to have a producer in your church because
Producer or MD.
yeah, producer or MD lah. So like, but MD also like, he just focus on the music arrangement. But if you producer, you focus on the whole sound itself. Yeah, like you want this song to sound like, okay, I want this song is to be more intimate. So there's a certain choice of keyboard sound you want to use. There's a certain approach you want the singer to sing. So these are all small details that make the songs nicer lah. Because we all like, for I would say like normal people lah, like our church lah, like they just listen, good lah, got song lah, got sound lah, like got nice music lah, okay lah. But what makes it nice is all in the small details lah. Like my wife always talk to me, why you spend so much time like just editing the vocal or like putting all your guitar like 4-5 tracks. Nobody will notice also, which is true. Nobody will notice because but it's all in the small details that make it nice actually. Like let's say you say talking about Bruno Mars, if you listen with a proper headphones or monitor speaker, if you listen closely, all of the section got things got arrangement. Like let's say chorus, there's no tambourine. Suddenly chorus got tambourine just on the 3 and 4. But then it's not obvious. You don't hear the tambourine like in your face, but it's just like they just to bring the mood of the song like level up. So it's all in the small details. Like chorus, only one singer singing. Then second chorus suddenly got extra vocals, which is not obvious but it's there. Then suddenly you feel, why the song? You can feel the intensity and the climax of the song lah. Yeah.
Okay, now after the government announced the RMCO where we can go back to our church to do live streaming, so you do so much work on your post-production, like sounded so nice already. But when you come to the live music production, how do you maintain the quality?
Okay, good thing in our church we have good sound engineers, such as Ken. He also is one of our sound engineer.
Yeah.
So it's because we are friends and we are all of us want to keep on push the benchmark lah, the excellence lah. So we are all open to listen to feedbacks. So I think like this week, I think this song can be, the overall volume can be louder, or I think the drums can be more EQ nicely. So I think it's, if you have one group of people like all like I can say like crazy lah, like all about let's keep on improving ah.
Yeah.
It's nice lah. You just keep on giving feedbacks and just sharing lah.
True.
Yeah. So like if you listen to our first week of service, you can see the first few weeks, it's like up and down one. But now it's getting more stable.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just a process lah. Just process.
Yeah, and also just a little bit tips that always remember that you are playing some music, you are making a good sound. It's not to sound good in your church or in your hall. You must also consider the people are watching live in their homes. So you need somebody to monitor the audio quality through your iPad or your iPhone. Just make sure that they can hear the details, they can hear the vocal, and most important thing is the sermon. Make sure the mic is turned on your live stream so that people can hear it clearly. So the keyword is make sure the sound good in the streaming and not in your hall. If your hall is empty.
Yeah.
Okay, we have one more question coming in.
Okay, sorry, maybe I can add on the streaming.
Yep.
Because talking about the listening to the live stream, we always like compare to the songs from Spotify. Because like Spotify, all the top engineers mix and really good. So every week, because we have a rehearsal on Saturday, so during the rehearsal, they will record video and also audio. So when we go back at home, they also like can give feedback lah. I think this one can be louder and like can be mixed nicer lah. So on Sunday itself, that's the final tweak lah.
Yep.
So when you go back and at home and listen, it's where you can compare. Like you compare to your sound and to the like Spotify or other YouTube version.
Yeah, it's very important that we have a reference, but be
Reference.
careful of your reference. You don't take like Hillsong, Bethel Church, where they already polish everything before they publish it. So take a reference from yourself first, like on the rehearsal. This is my reference, and how do I make it to sounds better on Sunday. So don't take the reference like which they already invested millions of dollars in their equipment and compare to your just a home setting live streamer. So always choose the right reference, then do a comparison. Okay, next question. Do you have any tips in controlling instrument volume and positioning where we are just one condenser mic to record all the instrument, drum, guitar, bass at once or during live stream? So basically, they are playing live and also only using one microphone to do how to controlling. Maybe Iko can explain the strength they play, and I will explain on the technical. For the technical part, it's a little bit tricky. It's a little bit difficult. So that you need to like balance it. Which one should close to the mic? Let's say the drum is the loudest. You don't put your drum in front of the mic. So you put it further, and maybe guitar. If your guitar is electric, or in the speaker, maybe depends on your speaker size. If it's too small, you put it in the front, put it in the back, and bass maybe to the front or to the back. It depends on how do you like the MD, like I want the drum louder, I want the keyboard louder. So depends on your placement. But in also your placement, you have to consider your camera angle also. So you need to sit down, have a talk with your engineer and also your cameraman, which one is the best. And if your church is too small and no place to do a nice placement, and then we'll talk about the playing style already. There you go.
Okay, so talking about that, it's first thing also the room or the hall is really important. If it's like really square and it's all like tiles, it will be bouncy lah. So like the echo is not nice. So if you can find a nice room, like even if it's not like fully acoustically treated, but as long it's not so bouncy, that's a bonus lah. Then what playing? Let's say you have 4 instruments: bass, guitar, keyboard, drums. It's all from the musicians itself. They must be able to control from their playing. So if they can listen to everyone on stage or in the room, then after you record, find the nice positioning of the mic, then keep on listening. Okay. If you have laptop on the day itself, it's good lah, because you can record and then you can straight away play back. So you listen, and then I feel the guitar is still too loud. Okay, then ask the guitarist to lower down the volume. So keep on experimenting, keep on doing until you find the nice spot. Yeah. So the most important thing is actually the drummer, because the drummer is all the volume is mostly from the playing lah.
Yeah.
If like guitar or bass can limit from the volume from the amplifier. Yeah.
Maybe you can add to your question, because it's just one condenser mic, because condenser mic is require phantom power. Are you connecting into the mixer? Is it because you don't have extra mic, or because your interface is limited channel? So let's say you have a limited microphone. This is the way that we do lah. If your interface is limited input, we advise you to get a more channel count. So let's say four or five mics. And most important thing is for the worker singers, and also maybe you can mic up one mic for one instrument, one drum, put it on the top, guitar, and also bass and keyboard. So you can create a more balanced sound, and the musician can play like freely, stress-free. No need to control their playing so much. Okay. Any more questions coming in? We have about 5 minutes before we end this webinar. Keep on. Or Iko, any tips that you can give to our friends watching here? Any, let's say, one thing that we must have when we play music in live?
One thing that we must have, as in the
Equipment, doesn't matter equipment. What equipment that we need to have, like audio interface or
for live stream.
Yeah.
Okay, for live stream, of course you must have all the like drums, guitar, bass, and everything, and then a good mic. One thing that we must have, basically just have all the equipments and a proper mixer or audio interface.
Yeah.
Like now we are using digital mixer, so everything actually same also lah, digital and analog also. It's all from the volume fader, also the balancing.
Okay, and for my tips to all the churches out there, the one thing that very important to have is this thing, audio interface. Your band can play very well, but if you didn't capture the nice audio and stream it the nice audio, your streaming will not looks good, because streaming principle is that your audio must sound good. Doesn't matter, because the audio is the one that catch people attention. If your worship suddenly sounded so good, and suddenly the cable like or you also doesn't have the mood to continue to watch, you go and watch the other video. So for me, audio interface is very important. Doesn't matter how many channels. If you are using analog channel, like what I said just now, 2 channel output, your left and right, your master into this, and always monitor your final mix. Sometimes the bass might not too loud in the hall. It might be loud in the streaming, because this is the first issue that we faced during our first live stream. Because our church hall, we have a subwoofer. The bass was just nice, but during live stream, bass tak ada, cannot hear at all. So we need someone to monitor this level level, the final mix. Someone watching the audio in YouTube to monitor it, so that everything is balanced. And remember that we are making audio for people at home, not make the people inside the hall feel good only. There is the things that we need to consider.
Yeah.
Any more question? Come, we have 2 minutes before we end this session.
Okay, talking about audio interface. What's the difference with the first model and the second model? Or what are the importance of preamps?
Yeah. Okay. This model. Okay, let me take this model. Okay. This model, slightly smaller. You look at the size. They're slightly smaller. This one is the entry level, which is a standard mic preamp that is just nice to record vocal and instrument. We have a high Z input. High Z means your instrument input, electric guitar and piano. For this one, is the improvement of the preamp. What is so important about preamp? This is good things about for vocals. So in vocal, if you are using a mic that is like SM58 for sure, this might not capture the full sound of your vocal range. Maybe, why I already sing so high, I cannot hear the crispy sound because limitation of your preamp. So in better preamp, you have a more headroom. It will capture all your details, like your highs. We call it when you are the singer, you want the air sound, like all the air sound. So this thing can capture in more detail. It's not important, but for a singer, this is their preference. Oh, I wanted this to create like what he said. This minor detail to change the song looks. This is good enough for the startup, and this one is for more details sound of your vocal.
Like the lesser instruments that you have, for example, Sam Smith or Adele, like only vocals and piano. The vocals sounded so full because all the small details can hear like all the small details can hear. That's why, why like only piano and vocals also like sound so full, sound so good. So it's all from the recording. So it's really important to have a decent, very good recording source.
Okay, we are done. Thank you all.
Thank
you all for joining us. If you want us to continue to do this kind of session for the next time, volume 2, drop us a message. What topic that you want us to do for you? Any subject, any more detailed topics that you want us to share with you? Just drop us a message, and don't forget to follow our Instagram and also our Facebook page. Thank you, Iko, also for joining us. Thank you so much for
having
time.
me.
And thank you for whatever that you share. I hope all of you have been blessed and you have learned something, at least one thing that you can learn and bring back to your church. Thank you all. Thank you all for watching us. Thank you. See you next time.
See you.